work this business 8 hours a day, 6 days a week at least.
It's not uncommon during the middle of the week to with 35, 40 items.
Like you figure out what works.
Hey everybody, welcome in to the Flipside Reseller Roundtable. Ellie cannot be with us tonight. She's not feeling well, so we hope you feel better soon, Ellie.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
It's that time of year, you know, kids are going back to school and the junk is out there. Make sure you get some hand sanitizer and some Lysol.
Yeah.
Pro tips. And wash your damn hands.
Yeah, those kids, they're little germ pits. Kids are germ pits.
Yeah, little germy kids. Yeah. They're good kids though.
Yeah.
Anywho, so yeah, we were, usually 6 resellers talking about reselling, just cutting it up, hashing it out. How's everybody's week been?
Good.
Good.
Same old.
Pretty good.
I do kind of feel like I'm on the opposite side of the sun on eBay. I don't understand it. It's like once in a while, eBay just it's like you start looking to see if something happened to your store because you're listing, and nothing's happening. But that only happens to me on eBay.
Yeah,
it's like it cycles or something. I don't know.
How many listings?
Sometimes you don't realize it how many sales you're getting. We put out a what sold video, and usually before I go into what's sold for the week, I'll do kind of a rundown of all of our numbers and just kind of look to see how much we sold the week before. And I was really surprised this last one, we had sold a lot more than what I had kind of perceived. So sometimes there's a disconnect, at least for us. It's like, well, I feel like eBay's slow, but in reality, we had one of our better weeks of the year. So
great.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm being gaslit by eBay, so I'm with you, Ruth.
Numbers once in a while.
I mean, I'm
better than you realize. You never know.
So happy that I started Etsy because it's like totally floating my boat. So I'm grateful.
Damn.
Grateful.
I'm grateful for Nifty.
Yeah, me too.
Oh man, I am so grateful for getting our Depop account back. It's absolutely showing up in spades, man. It's awesome. I think people are just over the shipping issues, how much the shipping is costing. So sites like Depop and Vinted right now have an absolute stranglehold on eBay, in my opinion. Now there are volume resellers like Cougar's Corner and Sean that are going to, prove us wrong. But maybe if you're not at that level, maybe you're feeling it more. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I feel like the bigger you are and the more consistent of listing every day, like I list almost the same amount of stuff every day, just like Gary and Amy kind of list about the same amount every day. I think it evens it out and you can kind of predict what you're going to do a week. I think the smaller you are and the less frequently you list, if you're not consistent in listing every day, you're going to see more of a roller coaster. Like I have roller coaster. By the end of the week, it's still pretty close to the same number. And I think the consistency and the large amount of items listed kind of gives you similar results where you can kind of know what you're going to do for the week.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I know that like when I'm looking at, you know what it is I have my mindset that eBay was carrying us for so long. Now that we're cross listing and there's all these other platforms, when I say we're doing not as good, and then I look at all the other stuff in totality, it makes it feel a lot better. Like I was just looking at our year-end numbers already, year to date anyways, and we're right on track or more than last year. So like you're saying, Gary, it's like if the week doesn't seem as good, maybe go back maybe to your 30-day and then maybe go back to your 90-day and just kind of look. A lot of times it's just like a one-off maybe.
Yeah.
So I think it's perspective, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, no, you're not in business for 1 week. So important to remember, a down week or a slow week doesn't sink your ship. But if there's a pattern or if it's sustained over a long period of time, then you've got to adjust. And I think that's why it's important to always be tracking that. So even if it's on a piece of paper and you just write it down or like a spreadsheet or whatever, like anytime you change something, whether it's the amount you're listing per day or you're changing your sourcing or the amount you're promoting, anything like that, if you can track that information, then you have some context to go back and look and see what do those changes translate to in terms of your sales. And I think that's
Absolutely.
really important. That's what we've done, for a long time. And so we know we can kind of turn those dials, whether it comes to promotions or sale events or coupons, and know that, this is going to affect our traffic one way or the other. This is what to expect from one month to the other throughout the year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It sometimes makes me wonder, like, and today I did a thing. I went to eBay, and I was like, okay, let's do an experiment. So why not, right? Because it's so slow anyways. I turned up promoted listings to 10%. I had it set at 5.5. So I was like, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the heat on the pot and see what happens and see what difference. So we'll report back on the next Flipside in 2 weeks from now, just to give you guys a little bit of a perspective what that will do. I figured it's a good time to do an experiment. Why not, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. So
yeah. Keep a look at your traffic numbers starting from today. It probably takes a little bit of time, for eBay to index all of that information.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few listings. There's 8. I think we're kind of hovering between 8.5 and 8.7 thousand. So it just depends on, like, we have a big sales day or sales week. It's just hard to get that much. I mean, you guys know I'm talking to you guys. It's hard to get all those items listed up. It's like incredibly difficult to get that much through. But systems and processes. I'm watching Cougar's Corner. I had the tiger, and Shawn, and man,
yeah,
like, it's crazy to watch you guys.
I'm just amazed too at them.
Speaking of crazy,
I can't fathom it, actually. So
speaking of crazy, 5,000 on YouTube.
Yeah,
5,000 on YouTube. That's unheard of for me.
Well, we appreciate everybody that is subscribed and follows us and makes comments. I mean, we're not, we don't put out a lot of fancy videos. A lot of it's just what sold, and I'm not very good at editing or making them, but we're excited to hit that milestone, and hopefully it continues growing. And I have a lot of ideas, and we've been kicking around some ideas on what else we can do with it. But YouTube's one of those things where it is a lot like eBay and reselling. It's just a grind, and the more you put the more effort you put into it, the results can come. And you guys all know it, Bob, your channel, and Shawn, your channel, and even Ruthann, your channel. They're all, it all takes time, and it just takes that consistent effort of putting out videos and interacting with folks that are commenting, and it's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed building that over there.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that I've realized. Like, and I recommend people to have at least an Instagram whenever they do something in a business sense, whatever that looks like. But get out. You don't have to monetize. We've talked about that before, but I kind of lost track of the fun piece for like maybe a week or two. I just felt like it was just pure grind, and I just had to remind myself that I love to podcast. I love to create. So for those that didn't know, like, I'm a hobby artist. I do that. So I love to create things. So I think that's like some of what I'm trying to like do in this way. It's like a natural outpouring of that. So it's like an extension of that. So that's what I get out of creation. Also, I'm huge in the community. So having the ability to have a platform to build that, man, it's awesome. I love it. Love every bit of it. I'm jealous of you guys, though, full-time reselling. I want to be a full-time reseller. Shawn's like, just do it.
These days, I can hardly even call myself that. So, because my life, the people in my life, and it's hard to even call myself full-time right now, because I keep getting called away from my business to take care of people, do my life. And so, but that's the good part about this business, is being able to, make it exactly what suits your world, your life. So
Ruthann was just telling us offline that she was over down at the lake, right? River.
Yep, down at the river. Yep, it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, nice breeze blowing there in Minnesota. Meanwhile, Alabama's cooking.
Yep, it is like only like 75 degrees outside. It's just like a perfect day. The only negative we have is we are so parched dry, and we're never this way. So I mean the grass is brown and crunchy. So
one of the
which is
driest
very
years,
unusual for us.
yeah, one of the driest years on record for a while for a lot of people. What about you guys down in was it Missouri?
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of rain recently through July and August. Like normally our grass will turn brown, by this time, but I actually mowed yesterday and we've got the green, we've got green grass. So it's been consistent all year. So
As it.
Yeah.
What about you, Sean?
It rained. It rained every day last week. So
that's where all the rain is.
I'm jelly.
Yeah, it's been
jelly.
It's been
gosh,
horrible, but
so nice.
I think we're supposed to have a dry August. So
yeah, usually this time of year we're normally that way, but I don't know. It just makes it more interesting. Like yesterday, we did a lot of booth work. Like we were down at the booths. My wife now has 2 booths, one in Tony, Alabama, and one down in Huntsville, Alabama. And we were just running around doing that stuff, getting set up. So in Tony, Alabama, it's called the Jaded Mercantile. I think it's set in September. They're doing their grand opening. So she went down there and pegged out all the boards, put up all her little people. So did a bunch of running around and errands to get that all set up. Starting to look good. So there should be a video, some pictures coming out soon to set up. So yeah, that's what we were doing. So sweating to death doing that. So never
Sean, did the rains affect like flea markets and auctions for you?
Yeah, I was getting like a little withdrawal shake because I wasn't able to go anywhere. I just had a list of stuff I already had. So
how dare you go to the death pile? How dare you?
I know. I couldn't go to the flea markets for a week. Couldn't go to the yard sales for a week. I had to list stuff I already owned.
Yep.
It's hard to garage sale in the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of garage sales, I went to one. Yeah. Spoiler alert. I went to one yesterday.
Wow.
So, yeah, which is uncommon for me. We were driving by, coming back from all those errands I was talking about, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eyes, one of the neighbors, I see it. It's like all this colorful stuff. I'm like, is that all plush? I was like, no way. So it's like, Amanda's driving. I was like, I go out there, and first of all, it's like 1,000,000 degrees, like I said, and they have 3 like king size comforters, just plush as far as I can see. I'm looking down, and there's like big Douglas dogs and all this stuff, and there's nobody out there. And there's so much good stuff. You guys would have absolutely killed out there. There's so much good stuff.
You got a horseshoe up your back end there, Bob.
Maybe. And then I'm like, where is everybody? So I knock on the door, and everybody's inside. They're like, it's way too hot to sit out there. So I was like, well, if someone can come out here, maybe we can kind of come up with a deal or something. So she's just like, before her feet touched the ground, she's like, give me $20 and you can have it all. I was like, holy crap. I felt bad. I was just like, I'm going to give you 30. That Douglas dog, Amanda comped it today, probably somewhere around 120 just for that one plush. So, and there were so many out there that were like that. So, yeah. And just to give you a scope of how much it was, don't come at me in the comments. We threw away probably 3 contractor bags that were not worth donating. And we still had tons and tons and tons of stuff. So it's absolutely.
Did you get on the ground and roll around in them?
What was the best? I thought about it, but
that would be a sight.
The best part of it is she had like 4 or 5 kids, and they all helped us load it into the car. I was just like, this is the greatest.
Nice.
This is the greatest. It was car. First of all, the car was already full of stuff that we were bringing back from the booths, right? So thankfully, Plush is very forgiving. So we were stuffing, and we're talking about we were only like a block away from the house. So, I mean, it wasn't very far at all.
I bet they were happy though to be rid of it all. They don't have to do anything with it.
Yeah, they were moving. They were just like, this is pretty much this end of the road here, and they had like stereo equipment and all kinds of stuff. Like, wow. I was just like, there's just no way. There's no room for any of this stuff. But it was like pretty much their whole life spilled outside. So
I have one more citywide that I can go to near me, so that's in September. Otherwise, our garage sale season is going to be coming to a close.
Ours is just getting heated up here in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. We did go to one recently. This one was, so the one we went to last weekend, they were very smart. So the estate sale companies in town, I think so essentially what happened was there was an estate sale that everybody was in line for, and the neighbor across the street had their garage sale. So at like 45 minutes before the estate sale opens, the company passes out numbers to everybody in line.
Yep.
Once you got your number and your spot was saved, about, I don't know, 70 people walked across the street to these people's garage sale.
Now let's talk about this number thing for a second. So the very first day,
numbers.
Oh gosh, I like it because we always use that opportunity to pee one more time. So I always make him take me something. It's very important. But this time we were
life hack.
Yeah. We were 19 and 20. I was 19, he was 20. We go across to the garage sale and we go to get in the car after the garage sale to go to the restroom. I put my card there and I was like, hey, let's make sure we got our cards here.
I had lost it somewhere. I dropped it.
Yeah.
I dropped my number, and like
you dropped your number?
My number at the garage sale across the street.
It was like 2
We'd
hours
been there for probably 45 minutes and I dropped it. So
damn.
We went back and there was a gentleman who had picked it up after I'd asked about it, and he gave it up because he got his own number. So then I was like, well, that would have been weird had I, we showed back up in line. She was 19. I'd have been there, and then you were standing there with the number I would have had. So I'm not exactly sure what the plan was, if he was going to sell it back to me or what. But anyway, we got
reseller.
I think you guys would have been all right. I see married couples share a number at them all the time. So you could have probably gone in with her anyway.
Oh,
we would have been fine.
Yeah.
Amy, the reason I say I hate the number system is the last estate sale I went to, they had so much amazing Christmas. Okay. And I was just honed in, and I got there early, but not early enough. And my number was 16 and the first batch was 1 through 15.
Oh.
And when I got in there, all the Christmas was gone.
Yeah.
So it was just like, dang.
Yeah.
You got if you're not first, sometimes it.
Yeah. If you're not first, you're
last.
Yeah.
Ricky Bobby.
Oh, Amy's got a story about that this week too. Speaking of not being first.
So we have this thrift store that they rearranged the entire store for Wednesday. So they're closed Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Only they put their pictures out on Facebook. And so most of the time we go there for the close. You can get there about 30 minutes ahead of time or whatever. There's still a long line. It's crazy. Not a lot of people are there for close. So I'm usually in the good. So this time there was a Sophie Cunningham bobblehead, which if you don't know her, she was, she played for Mizzou. She plays for the Fever now with Caitlin Clark. She's the one that
she's a big deal.
Yeah.
She
gets up in everybody's face. You mess with Caitlin, but she has no shame. I love it.
Yep.
Back when she was in college.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly the point.
Yeah.
When she was in college at Missouri, they released these bobbleheads and they were pretty common. Like, you could get them, they'd give them away at games or whatever. But like over time, they've gotten collected. And so with her being in the news, it's like a lot of stuff in reselling. If, somebody's, famous or they're making news, their, items like that can go for good money. And I think we had sold several of these Sophie Cunningham bobbleheads at our booth and on eBay before, and they'd go for $50 to $60 usually. But right now they're going for over 100.
Like 160. There's one there when I checked Tuesday night, there was one listed and several sold. Like 160.
Sell-through rate's really high. So. But they had one in the pictures.
Yeah. So which there's another gal in town that she's like the original gangster of reselling in Columbia. And she has like an entire line of booths out at Midway, and we always get along. She does mostly strictly antiques, like glass and other antiques and vintage stuff. And so I kind of had an inkling she was going to be there. I still gave it the old college try. I got there at
you went pretty early.
Yeah, it was
like over an hour early.
It was like an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes early. And I pull up and she's sitting in her car. Like I pull up and I see nobody in line and I'm like, I got it. And then I'm like, I look over and she's sitting in her car. She gets out and she goes up to the front and she turns around and she goes, just because it's you, I'll tell you what I'm here for. And she's like, I'm here. There was 3 bobbleheads. There was a Drew Lock and then Barry Odom. And so I said, well, I had told Gary, I was like, if I pull up and she's there, I'm just going to leave because it's not worth an hour and a half waiting for other stuff. And so I ended up hanging out, but if you're not first, you're last. I was literally number 2 in line. The funniest part is there was a kid that came up, like they'd been open for 10 minutes and he was asking at the front for the bobbleheads. And Kathy and I were like, isn't that cute? He's not getting them 10 minutes. Kathy goes, we had them. She goes, I was here 2 hours early and Amy got here. And so, yeah.
2 hours early. Whew.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, it's a whole thing.
It was an
That's
entire
the one thing I don't like about estate sales. It's
Yeah.
I don't like that kind of I just don't care for that kind of stress.
Yeah.
Because if you are number 2 or 3 or 4, it's just like this big race and it's a grab and go and you don't have enough arms and it's just like
it can be stressful for sure.
Yeah,
I know,
and at least you guys are together most of the time. But
we definitely plan and go in different directions and study the pictures. And I mean, you can really drill down sometimes as to what rooms certain things are in. You know, you can look at the carpet or the closet door or something.
Pastoral estate listings.
I mean, there are ways. It sounds crazy, but if there's really something that you're interested in, there's ways to go about, really determining where an item might be in a house. And
that's why I like auctions. I don't have to be super competitive and get there early. I can just get there and bully them with the checkbook if I want to.
So when you go to auctions, Shawn, is it everybody's just like, oh God, here comes Shawn. I'm not getting anything today.
There's some that say, "Oh, everything just got more expensive." I've heard that sometimes. A few months ago, I bought a big there was an auction where an HVAC company went under. So half the auction was HVAC stuff and half the auction was an estate. And it was only me and one other guy who was bidding on the HVAC stuff. Nobody else wanted it. So I was paying up for the stuff just so he wouldn't win anything. And then about after 20 lots, he just got up, walked out, and drove off. And I'm like, okay, I bullied him out of here. Now the rest of it's mine. And I bought it all for $1 a piece because no one bid it against me. So they'd be like,
do you do
all this?
Are those live auctions, Shawn?
Yeah. So
what's your strategy on something like, I mean, don't give away any of your secrets or anything, but essentially like when you're bidding, are you waiting for the auctioneer to, he says, we'll start off at 50. You ask for 50 for 2 or 3 seconds, and if he doesn't get it, then he drops it down. Are you just waiting for that drop down, and then you're immediately getting in, or are you kind of holding back to see how the bids progress?
Like in that situation, there was some like HVAC compressors that were like $800 to $1,200 a piece, and I know everyone at this place that goes to this weekly auction is notoriously cheap, and they wait for the auctioneer to get down to $1 and then they start bidding. So on those, like I came in strong and went like $25 right off the bat, and everyone would be like, "Ooh, $25," and just bought them for $25 because everyone just knew that I was going to buy them. Like, so
I think that's interesting. From the psychology standpoint of nobody's willing to, they want that auctioneer to drop that price down as low as possible, and then they jump in. But then a lot of times, you get 2 or 3 bidding and it'll go for way over 25. But, you jump in at 25 and it's like nobody's willing to jump in over that. So I think, that's an interesting scenario where you actually might get something cheaper than had you waited. And then you get people bidding that you kind of lose sight of what the item is, and it's more about like an ego bidding thing. It's like, I can't let this thing go.
I call them wiener measuring contests.
Yeah, that's
I don't think that's
the
what you
unofficial
call it.
Funny
term.
you should say that, because when I go to auctions here, I'm the only woman there. Okay.
Yeah.
There's this one guy that's always there with me. He's been going for years. And a lot of times we're at the same auction, and he'll just tell the other men, you might as well stop bidding. She's taking this. You might as well just bow out, and I'm the only woman there. There are no other women usually. Maybe a couple Amish women once in a while, but they're not looking at the same things I'm looking at. So, but it's funny how this one guy, he always says his name is Stan, and he says, you guys need to just bow out because she's winning this.
I get targeted a little bit for other guys just trying to run me up. So a little strategy I do is, most people in their head have a nice round even number. So like if I have a feeling they're running me up and they're really not interested, I'll quit at like $19. And they're like, oh, I'm only going to take them up to 20, and they'll go 20, and I'll just bow out and
dump it on them.
I had a guy a few months ago, there was like 5 or 6 totes of like vintage Power Ranger toys, and I was winning them between $10 and $15 a tote, but they weren't running all 6 in a row. They'd run a tote, and then they'd run 20 or 30 items, and they'd run a tote. So I won like the first 5 totes, and all these old guys at the auction that don't know anything about it just kept looking. And I kind of draw attention to myself because I buy a lot when I go. So they're wondering like, what's this young kid or over here buying? So then the last one, a guy out of the blue starts bidding on him, and we get up to like $40 on it, and I just quit. And then he stuck with the Power Ranger tote. And as soon as he wins it, he's like digging through it like, what did I just buy? And he came over and tried to sell me the tote. And I said, I'm good. I got the other 5. And he didn't want it. He was just being a old grouchy guy. And he was like, well, I think you got like, I have this gun, but part of this gun's in one of your boxes. You want to do like a trade? And I'm like, no, I'm good. And he's like, well, what are you going to do with those parts? And I'm like, sell those parts. Like I part stuff out. Like, and he was just dumbfounded, and he was stuck with a tote of Power Ranger toys that he didn't want because he was just trying to be one of those guys, so.
Yeah.
You just kind of read other people's intentions and see what they're doing. And
Shawn,
there is a learning curve, I think, to the auctions a little bit, to know how those processes work. I know when we first started going, it was fun because I don't think Amy'd really been to too many auctions or bid in them live. And so, there's a difference between, like a choice lot where, you got 6 things, 6 of the same thing, and there's a choice, or then you take it all for one money. And so we have this little code if we go to auctions, because I'll listen to the auctioneer a lot of times, and they'll say, sometimes you don't hear them, but it'll be like, all right, choice lot here, and I'll give Amy this little look and be like, well, be careful, danger. Or if it's like, times the money, like, oh, it's, you bid $10, but it's times 6. That's the one where I really got to be like, hey, look out here, because that's, you might get them all.
Yeah. The first one we went to, I thought I was getting a killer deal. He had 4 of these really cool steins, and I was, by God.
She was in it. She's like, oh yeah, I got all these for like $3.
And he's like, which one do you want? And I'm like,
oh, I didn't know that.
I played it off cool. I was like, inside though, I was dying. I was like, I'll take that one, please. And then I was like, oh my God.
I've seen auctioneers do this dirty trick. They'll have like in your Stein situation, they'll be like, got these 4 Steins, and then it goes for way lower than what they expected. So then after they auction off, they're like, okay, which one you want? Which choice did you want? And they never specifically said, but they kind of worded it in a way where you thought you were getting them all, but it didn't bring what they wanted. So then they'll be like, which one do you want after you win it for $3? So I've seen that trick.
That's tough.
Yeah,
that's down low.
That's dirty.
Yeah.
Shawn, are you seeing younger people at the auctions at all?
No. I'm 39, and I'm usually the youngest one the majority of the time. And
I wonder what their plan is for that. Because, they're usually family owned, right? Like, so you see like companies like eBay buying Depop because they're trying to get interested interest from like younger folks into reselling. I just wonder what their strategy might be for something like that. That's interesting.
Well, the live auction's kind of a rare thing anymore because most of them have gone to sites like HiBid during COVID. So I prefer live because I feel like you get the better deal because they're not shipping. You got to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether it's raining, snowing, you got to be there. But
plus, you don't know what you're going to get in the box. I mean, there are a lot of times you'll get a whole box, and there's a lot of good things in the box that nobody even knows is in there.
When I was personally selling in HiBid, I had quite a few young people buying on HiBid and coming and picking stuff up. So young people are buying on auctions. They're just doing it online, and they're not going to the live in person like old school farm auctions.
Yeah. I buy a lot on HiBid. I mean, I got 2-3 HiBid auctions going right now that I'm bidding on. So
I'm going to show you a record I got from HiBid. Hang on a second. I'll roll over here and get it.
You also save on your buyer's premium. Usually HiBid will have, I don't know what that normally is, but I see 10% quite a bit on HiBid as a buyer premium.
10%'s kind of cheap.
Is it? Yeah.
The common's 15 around here, and I've seen 18 and 20. But as someone that sells on HiBid, the reason is the fee to sell on HiBid is kind of expensive. So.
Bob's
Buffalo
nice.
Bob.
Buffalo Bob. That's what we'll call you from now on. Buffalo Bob
Smith.
You need to find that. If you could find that outfit on eBay or something, Bob.
I mean, I'm all about it. So Buffalo Bob Smith, the creator of Howdy Doody.
Isn't Buffalo Bob the guy in that one movie that had people in the hole in his house and was
Silence of the Lambs? I think.
Is that Buffalo Bob?
Maybe he took the name. Yeah, I don't got anybody in my basement because I don't have one. But
just put the lotion in the basket.
So I bought about like 20 records from when I was a kid. My mom had, and I saw them on this lot on HiBid, and I was just like, I'm in. Turns out the place that they had to go pick it up is like an hour away from me. I was just like, oh, there you go. So I had to drive out way into Pulaski, Tennessee, but it was a pretty drive out there. But yeah, that's the first time I've ever bought anything from HiBid. So, and I bought a lot of hats too. So, and I made a lot of money on the hats. They were old trucker vintage stuff, and that's when that was first breaking. Like some of that stuff, like when that was really hot. It still is, but yeah. So I made a ton of money off that. Definitely paid for those records. A lot of Christmas records.
Wait, you listed hats?
Yeah,
those aren't.
Yeah, my Poshmark before I started selling toys was called Fat Hats, PHAT hats, Fat Hats.
Well, let's hear more about your hat store.
I love making hats.
Curious about
I love
that.
selling hats.
Yeah, I mean,
so easy.
Yeah, so a lot of them were the trucker, that had the old foam, new old stock stuff, and I still to this day will go to the Goodwill outlet bins, and here specifically here in Madison, Alabama, it's a little bit more money out that way. And I'll go while my wife's looking at other stuff, and I'll just start picking through hats. I found all these like Titleist, all this other, golf anything apparel. You guys know.
Yeah.
Like the people that play golf normally have money because it's an expensive hobby. Callaway, all those brands. So I found all these hats, right? And then I'm like, okay, now what? Like, am I going to list them all? Please don't resurrect. And my wife's in the comments saying, please don't resurrect those. So I'll go ahead and pin it so you guys can see. It's pretty funny.
Nice. Fat hats, bring it back.
Fat hats, right? So anyway, she hated photographing hats, but anyways, yeah. So I found all these hats, and I'm just like, So this guy was like digging through. I was like, here, man, here's all the good ones, and I just walked out. I was just like, it broke my heart though. I was just like, oh man. If I were gonna sell though, like clothing or stuff, I would do hats. I would do ties, definitely, because a lot of people like look past ties. A lot of some ties can do really well. I've seen complete Etsy and Poshmark like vintage and other just neckties. So a lot of those silk ones and different brands and stuff can do really well. So,
I would add belts as something that is overlooked a lot, and you can get some good money for belts. And actually, if they're in decent shape, they can be a quick seller.
Yep.
Yeah.
Easy. They're easy.
Yeah, this is what Amanda sells all the Vera Bradley. Like she has totes and totes and totes, like totes of Vera Bradley. Like still to this day. She has them listed on Poshmark and Mercari.
Cool.
Yeah. She just
My
sold
wife's
them
been killing it with hats because I have a hat connection where I get brand new hats, and I get 100 to 150 about every 2 or 3 weeks for $4 a piece, and I can't get to the hats. I'm just too busy to list hats. So she has an account that she lists 3 items a day. She usually does like 21 drafts on a Sunday, and then she makes 3 listings live a day. She has like 1,000 listings, and most of them are hats. And going into Q4, I told her, I was like, we need to get those hats on a different platform. So we started paying for a second Nifty account just for her smaller eBay store. And she started that on the 18th, so 5 days ago. And I think this weekend she just told me, because I do all her buying and I do all her shipping. She just has to list them. She sold 8 on Depop this weekend and like 7 or 8 on Poshmark. And she just opened those brand new Poshmark and brand new Depop accounts just the other day. So they're brand spanking new accounts with no history. And she sold 15 or 16 additional hats on top of what she normally sells on eBay this weekend. So
that's awesome.
She used that new Nifty feature because she just made a hats rule for the weight and cross listed all the hats in a couple clicks. And
yeah, let's talk about the cross listing of Nifty, the bulk cross listing function. It works for some of us and does not work for a lot of us. Specifically for us, where we're selling things that are within a certain weight class, it's been a game changer. I know the last time we met, I think I was at 2,000 cross listed. Since then, I think I'm up to 4,500 cross listed. So I'm almost seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. What's slowing me down is like when we moved from Vendu to Nifty. Vendu was having trouble connecting to different marketplaces, and listings were dropping off the back end for specifically eBay. So it was causing a lot of issues. So our counts were off. So specifically for Mercari and Poshmark was an absolute mess. So what we did when we crossed over to Nifty is I brought all that junk over, not knowing this at the time. So I took Poshmark and Mercari down to nothing, like no listings. I'm surprised my count didn't get taken away, honestly, from both. But we did that all the way down, and then we started slowly cross listing back up. And yeah, that's just how we had to do it, just to purge the swamp. It was this.
I did the exact same thing. I was using List Perfectly, and I knew my Poshmark. eBay I kept on because eBay is so important to me, but I knew my Poshmark and Mercari inventory on there was a mess because List Perfectly was not doing its job. You had to leave your computer on 24/7. If it fell asleep, anything that sold while your computer was asleep didn't delist, and it was just a mess. So I completely deleted all my listings on Poshmark and Mercari, and then I just resynced all my eBay listings in the Nifty. And so I was up until they just made this new change, I was still about 3,000 listings behind getting fully cross-listed. And I was able to make a rule this weekend because I have certain stuff skewed in like real small boxes, so I know all that stuff's under £1. So I made a new Nifty rule for anything under £1. Then I filtered by SKU to where I knew all my small stuff was, and then I was able to cross-list all that in bulk this weekend. And I cross-listed so much this weekend that I ran out of smart credits. I used all 1,000 smart credits on Nifty, and I never used a smart credit on Nifty ever because I don't list through Nifty. So I just never touched my 1,000 smart credits, and I burned through all 1,000 smart credits doing it cross listed over 1,000 items this weekend with that new rule. So
love it.
Wow.
So smart credits, I figured out how much they cost per credit. It's 2.5 cents per credit. So that's what it is. Now, what's your time worth? So it's just like, maybe I'm going to spend $40 by the time I'm done doing this in smart credits, but also OnePlus will pay for that. I'm just for you and Gary and Amy,
since you guys all sell in like a specific category, like Gary and Amy could probably get by with only making like 3 or 4 rules for different shirts and pants and shoes, I imagine. And you could probably get by with just making a couple different rules for small plush, medium plush, large plush, and probably knock it all out pretty easily.
Yeah.
It definitely does help. Because of those, now I'm at the point in my like cross listing because I have all that stuff I took down. So what Nifty does is kind of weird. Like when you delist something, it doesn't remove it from the row. You have to go in and tell it to move it out of the row space, so that way you can relist it. Unless you use a relist feature. If you use a relist feature, what it does is it delists it and relists it in place. But if you just do the delist feature, which I did at the time, in hindsight, like because I wanted to take it down in totality. Now I have those like grayed out listings on Nifty where they're kind of just hanging out on the row space. Hard to picture, but so now I'm having to go and move all that stuff out first. Then what I did through I think I mentioned it last time on the podcast, we got really aggressive with our offers and set up Nifty to really get after it. Like if someone looks at this thing after 10 minutes, drop the price. If it doesn't list within 20 days or whatever, like drop it another 10%, like just to kind of tear through some inventory. By doing that, though, I screwed up all the prices of all the items. So now I'm having to go through and like readjust all the pricing on all the items. So, which is really good to talk about because now they have a price match feature on Nifty. You can go in there and bulk select and do price matches now. And then you can, luckily for me, like some of the stuff, if it is listed on Poshmark or eBay and it has the accurate price, I could just check those, say use eBay, and then match it across. So I'll cross bulk list it or whatever, and then I'll do a price match, and then I'll do a relist on eBay because all those listings are ancient. So
it's a good question in the chat.
Yeah, let's see. How do you know which Nifty source to use when signing up for the cross platform? Which Nifty source to use?
I would need to reword it. I don't know what they mean.
Do you mean which level of Nifty? Is that what your question is,
I'll leave it up there so you can dissect it.
Maybe he means which level to choose.
Yeah, so I think with Nifty, a lot of the functionality of it comes through the automation tool. And I think a lot of us will agree that having the automation feature is super, super helpful because that's basically what the teeth of the dog is. That's what's biting, because it's doing all the work behind the scenes.
Yep.
It's like that part-time employee that never stops, right? It's just continually, especially specifically with like Poshmark, it's really meant because it was auto posher before it was Nifty. So yeah,
that
so
starts at the $69.99 level, right?
Yeah.
Well, unless you have more than 1,500 listings, then it goes up to $89.99.
Okay.
Right. Your size of your store does matter, right, Sean?
Yeah. So I pay for the $89.99 package for my big main store, but my wife's store is on the $69.99 package. So because she has less than 1,500 listings.
So then because I'm getting pretty close to that then. So when you get to that threshold, will they say, hey, you have to upgrade your store?
No, they're going to delete all your listings, Ruth Ann, and then you're going to have to start all over.
No, they won't do that.
You're going to reach through the...
They'll probably email you, or you'll get an automated message on the account saying that you have to upgrade in order to continue. Likely. I'll put up the QR code here if somebody wants to trial. It's code Rocket City if you want to save 15%. This is not a promo for that, but I mean, we're all using it and it's making such an impact on all of our businesses. It's hard to say. Yeah. It's hard to sit here and not tell you guys to go do it because it is so good.
Game changer.
It really is. And it's made a huge difference and a huge impact on all of our businesses. Now, I will say, Sean, and I messaged you privately about this.
I saw that, and I saw it when I woke up, and I woke up earlier than you probably were awake, so I didn't text.
Yeah,
I'm going to reach out. But I don't know. I love it so much. I'm paying for a $90 account and a $70 account, so I'm putting $160 a month. So that's my rebuttal to anybody.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
And that's my rebuttal to anybody that says, "Oh, it's so expensive. I'm just going to use Flip or one of the cheapy ones that probably don't work half the time." That's my rebuttal. Like, I'm paying for it double. So
yeah. Well, I'm going to use it in the opposite direction, because when I make this move, there's going to be a lot of I'm not moving everything I've got. So there's going to be quite a bit of delisting. So I'm going to use it the opposite direction. It's going to be very helpful with this move.
Yeah.
You can do is you could cross list your stuff to Whatnot and then pull it into your live shows if you want to liquidate your stuff before you move.
Yep.
You could just put it into Whatnot, and then you're already like pre-listed for your Whatnot, which from my understanding, that's a good thing, which takes a lot of time. But so you could liquidate your old stuff that way by running a Whatnot show because it's already in the Whatnot for you.
Yep.
That's a really good idea. I didn't think about that. I could do that with all my bankers boxes.
You can just move all that stuff into Whatnot. You can sort by SKU, cross-list it, and then I think there's a spot you can click to put it into a reserve it for a live show, and then you're already ready to go for a live show because you already got pictures and everything for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I'm finally ready to go back to Whatnot, that's exactly what I'm going to do with some of this plush that we have. Exactly what Shawn just said. So I'll just grab a tote number. We know number our totes, grab the tote, preload it into Whatnot, and it's already listed, and just run it. Yeah. So it makes it super easy now. The fact that
accept pre-bids because you have it already listed and stuff like that. So
absolutely. And we're still selling stuff in the marketplace. So if you're into like having a different marketplace, you don't have to go live and use Nifty to sell stuff out of there. We sell stuff all the time out of our marketplace.
Yeah, I have sold 4 this weekend on Whatnot, and I haven't done a live in 4 or 5 years. So
yeah, I mean, it's still an option. What I was telling Shawn, the secret code earlier, was basically Rebel the Reseller and Robert. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Rebel and Robert. They got a second account, and they turned us on to the fact that they asked for a discount, and Nifty was kind enough to give them a 50% discount on their second account. So not saying that they'll do it for everybody, but if you're an affiliate like we are, they'll likely probably help you out, and maybe they will if you're not either. So you have not because you asked not, or you asked incorrectly, right? So definitely ask if you want a second Nifty account. If you want a first one though, it's going to change things so much for you. And I'm sorry about how busy you're about to get.
Like this, I was telling my wife just signed up, and I have to ship an additional 15 items tomorrow on Monday, my busiest shipping day, just because she started cross-listing. So I have 15 more on my plate tomorrow than I would have. So
I love hats, man. Hats are the best.
Yep.
I always wear one of these. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's
the golf
hat.
Yeah, it's like golf hat. It's on the Matt Camp Memorial Golf Tournament. My wife's best friend does every year for her dad. So he was a big sports guy. So all that money goes out to the West Morgan, community and sports community. So she does that every year. It's an awesome time. And I actually tore my shoulder playing in that. So now I can't play golf anymore, but I still support where I can. So anyways, I love golf. Don't get me started.
I've only played golf once, and I was the laughing stock, so I don't really plan to ever do it again.
Surprisingly, I tried it for the first time a few years ago, and I thought for sure I was just going to be awful. But I had a really great teacher at the time, and first time off the tee, 150 yards straight as an arrow. So, and my short game is good. My short game is really good. And I think with time, if I would have kept up with lessons, I probably could have been pretty okay. Luckily, you don't need a great physique.
My problem is I played softball for 30 years. So then when I tried to swing a golf club, the guy says to me, "Are you a softball player?" And I said, "Yes." And he says, "Well, you got to put that swing away. That's not going to work out here." Well, I just couldn't get it to be anything else,
Yeah.
So there's a question in chat we're going to talk about really quickly because it's important. April says, I tried Whatnot for around November last year to March this year. My anxiety couldn't take it. I tried several ways: in front of the camera, behind the camera. What are your thoughts on the next best platform? Ruthann, what would you have to say, encouraging to, because you're the bear share or whatnot here, our representative?
I guess I would ask, what is the anxiety? What is the anxiety? There is always a little bit of anxiety when you're going to push that button on Whatnot, but everybody has a different kind of anxiety with Whatnot. My anxiety is tech. I don't have a problem with the camera, but I, so it kind of depends on the anxiety that she has, because it could be multiple different things. And I had I was sick with anxiety for the first few months because I was scared of the tech side, but I had, the community was so good to me, to help me through all of that it just finally just started feeling better. So that's what I would wonder, is what is the anxiety?
Yeah. So when I first started, I still to this day, I'm surprised I do a podcast. I just hate being on camera. You could tell by my reselling content. It's not my preferred method of like interacting for some reason. So I think people are there for the item, not for me, but maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, Shawn and I was talking about this yesterday. So I think for me, the anxiety was the camera, not so much the tech, obviously, but we had 8,000 sold, my wife and I, before I paused Whatnot, and now she has another 6,000, I think, on there, on her own. So you just got to kind of do it. You get used to it. The more you do something, you kind of desensitize yourself to it, in a way.
April could reach out. If April wants to reach out to me, she can, because I would be glad to help her a little bit with whatever is causing the anxiety. I maybe can help her and I maybe can't. Everybody goes through it, though. I don't think nobody's immune to the anxiety. It's just a matter of, is there something you can do about it?
Yeah.
So
I think it's one of those things, if it's not getting easier over the course of time, and it's okay if live reselling is not for you, even though it is the future, I think at some point, eventually, not that eBay or anything's going away, but I think over the course of time, people are going to be more social, and you're already seeing it in social media. So social media sales just makes perfect sense, right? So I think at some point, the bear share of the market's going to move that way. But I think that there's going to be specifics, like Shawn's going to still be able to sell hubcaps or whatever to all these drill bits or whatever. You know what I mean? There's always going to be that thing.
I think there's room for both. I don't think static selling's going away. And
no, I don't think so
obviously,
either.
Time will tell the tale.
Live selling's not for everyone, April. So you can make a crazy money just doing buy now listings. I haven't done a live show in 5 years, and do all right. And Gary and Amy don't do live shows, and they do more than all right. Like,
I think Macari and Poshmark are easy entry.
I think you got to look at your own personality, and I mean, 80% of my income comes from Whatnot. So last July was my biggest month ever, and I think I did about $15,000, and about 10 of it was on Whatnot.
There's people like me. I can't sit through a whole Whatnot show. I get bored. I'll watch them. I'm like, quit talking and sell something. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. I don't want none of this crap. I'm getting off here. Live selling. There's a lot of people I don't think that want to sit and watch people buy their stuff live, anyways. And then part specific. I parted out a chainsaw this weekend. If you need the recoil cover for a Husqvarna 545 XL, you're not going to sit through
Shawn's your guy.
Whatnot 100,000 Whatnot shows hoping someone runs one. You're just going to type it in and go buy the part you need to sell it. Or if Gary and Amy have a nice Ralph Lauren shirt, you're not going to be like, man, I need an extra large blue with the little red horsey guy on there. I'm going to watch 500 Whatnot shows till that comes along. They're just going to get on there and buy it from Gary and Amy.
Yeah,
I don't think buy it now selling's going anywhere.
There's a customer for every type of platform.
Yeah.
And so, I think there is, you see so many people on Whatnot, and it's a great platform, and it works so well for so many folks, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right answer for everybody. Just like one said.
Exactly.
To go back to our question too, is the next easiest, I feel like, to start out for beginner resellers, even though Vinted hates resellers, is I would start out just getting used to it, whatever it is that she's selling. It's very user friendly just for the shipping itself. You know, eBay, you got to figure stuff out with shipping. Vinted, you literally just pick extra small, medium, large, and you can even take it to the post office and have them scan it. You don't have to print off anything. So if you want a platform to start out with, I would, you know, if you do choose to go the Vinted route, they're not particularly fond of commercial resellers or anything like that. So be cautious with a new account on how many that you're listing per day. But just to get used to the swing of things, that's probably where I would say to start out.
It's a low bar of entry for sure on Vinted.
It depends what you're selling too. If April's selling chainsaw parts, don't start on Vinted. Nobody's going to be on Vinted buying chainsaw parts. So she could be at home parting out chainsaws in the garage right now. And
So what do you think what is the biggest niches that are being sold on Vinted? Would you say
clothes? I would say, but maybe that's just because I'm doing a lot of sourcing on there for clothes. So maybe my perception
straight out of your closet. I mean, literally the picture is a lot of times is the shirt hanging in someone's closet, and you might get, it might not be blurry is about if that's lucky.
We ran just a quick experiment the other day. We were at Goodwill and Gary's like, take 2 pictures of this shirt and see if it sold. It was in Mexico. So it was about 45 minutes from us. So he goes, see if it sells before you get home. And so it was a particular, we did 2. And one of them was the sweatshirt we paid $5 for.
Yeah, it sold before we left the parking lot.
Yeah. And that was with literally one picture, which
front and back. And that was it. And
we hid the tag like,
like it can be that fast. But you know, it's,
but also
the margins aren't very good sometimes. So you just have to be, I think, I don't know, like the platform right now, there's free shipping.
Yeah.
And so, you know, as a buyer, you're not paying shipping and the seller's not paying shipping, the platform somehow covering all that. So that's probably a temporary thing. So it's going to change a lot when shipping comes back in. But I think it's a good entry level platform if you're just looking to, you know, clear stuff out of your own closet or around your own house. And there may be more resellers at some point on that platform, but I just don't know what their outlook is.
What do you think their end game is? Like not having,
I don't know what it is about the shipping and how they're handling that, because that's got to be eating them up.
I bet they have a big influx of venture capitalist money that they're blowing through, just trying to get their name out there. Because we're talking about Vinted right now because they're obviously bleeding cash crazy and they can't sustain it too much longer.
That's what I think too. I think they're just using
people hooked, and then they're going to got to start charging some kind of shipping, and they got to start charging some kind of fee, or they can't just have a free website with employees and everything.
Yeah, so let's teach some people how to become a reseller by not giving them any fees and any shipping costs.
Right.
And show them how easy it is and how our platform is different than everybody else's. Kind of smart, right?
I think there's things that eBay could learn from a place like Vinted. And, you know, especially like earlier we were talking about with shipping, how easy it is for shipping. And it's not that much different than like on Depop where you just print the label. You know, Depop, you know, they collect the shipping and just provide the label. So Vinted's a lot like that. But I think there's things that eBay could learn from some of these smaller platforms and try ways to implement. And I think maybe they are to a certain extent. You know, they've introduced bundles on eBay recently. And I think it's similar to what Poshmark kind of has with their bundles. So I think that there's an effort on eBay to try to do that. But, you know, it's tough on eBay because they're a platform that has to try to cover every scenario. It's a platform that sells a hat, and then it sells a chainsaw part, and then it sells a plush. And it's like, how do you create a listing flow and a platform that covers every scenario for all those different types of items? So it's definitely tough, but also I think there's, you know, the way reselling's evolving and the way people are, their habits and their buying, you know, their buying preferences change. You know, I think they've really got to work to try to stay up with the current level of new people that are coming into that secondhand and wanting to buy online, instead of going to Poshmark or Depop or Vinted, eBay's got to figure out a way to pull those folks in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What I think is that the problem is like lately I've been averaging a RV water heater once a week right now. I've been selling them because we're going like cooling down and going into the camping season. So I've been selling a lot of water heaters. When I cross list those to Mercari, because they have the flat rate like shipping based on size, they want to charge my buyer like $95 to ship a 15 by 15 box because of the weight. And a lot of times on eBay, because they do the calculated and have the deals, it's like $18 to $25. So my fear is if they try to simplify it like the Depops and Mercaris and Poshmarks, no one's ever going to buy the big stuff on eBay because it's going to flat rate, because they got to cover themselves from like New York to California under that flat rate. So nobody in California is buying my water heaters because they are like $70, $80 a ship. But you mess up your local regional markets because no one's going to buy my water heater if it's a flat $95 to ship from Indiana to Missouri, you know. So
that's the thing, is that eBay's got to work to figure out how to cover those scenarios, because they're going to lose out if they make that change to try to cover one scenario. Then they're causing problems on the other hand, just like what you're talking about. But it's a challenge for sure. But I think that they're big enough that they've got to sort that out and make it work for everyone.
I don't think they're worried about it, because I think even though Vinted's the trendy thing right now, I bet they're still out selling Vinted 50,000 to one item.
Sure.
So I don't think they're worried about it, and they know
I think
Vinted eventually.
I think Vinted and Depop and Poshmark are taking bites though, and I think other platforms will come up. There will be other platforms that pop up that take chunks, and it may just be 1,000 cuts, to where eventually it takes enough of that market share away from eBay that they will take notice and have to make some changes. Well, and I don't know, maybe they've got to go to USPS and figure out the shipping, because there's been at least 6 different rate changes from USPS and this year, and honestly it's completely random right now as to what something's going to cost to ship. Yeah, I mean, they just this week, I think effective yesterday, the rates, ground advantage rates in rural zip codes for 1 to 2 pounds has changed again. So now it's cheaper than it was just 3 weeks ago. So the whole idea of putting rocks in your package, that thing's over now because they fixed the rates for 1 to 2. But it really is just like you spin a wheel to figure out what the shipping rate's going to be on some items.
I shipped a 4-ounce package the other day that cost like $8 to go somewhere because it went to a rural area when usually a 4-ounce package is a little over $5 most scenarios. So
like that's the thing. I think that if they're could work on something immediately is going to the USPS and try to, I know they've got contract rates and things like that, but with as much volume as eBay does, you'd think that there would be a way to get those rates more competitive, because sometimes FedEx for us is beating USPS by $2 or more on just regular packages.
Yeah, so the state of shipping and reselling, we'll see what is going to happen with that. And it's going to be an interesting ride to see what eBay does. Will they lose market share to sites like Depop and Vinted, or will they continue to just be okay? I'm not sure. I think it is going to be much like Gary said, in my opinion. I know Sean and I disagree probably. It's going to be a death by 1,000 cuts. Personally, I think so too. I guess, but time will tell. I don't think eBay is going anywhere. The corporate greed monster that they are. They'll figure a way. All right, guys. Well, if there's anything else we want to talk about before we go ahead and get out of here, now's your chance.
Ruth Ann's first YouTube video, I watched it. It was great.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Getting ready to drop number 2.
All right.
I've been pretty excited about my shorts. My shorts have been doing really well. And so now I got to get this episode 2 down. My life's been kind of a shit show this week. So
I love it. It's gonna be okay, Ruth Ann. It's gonna be okay.
Yep,
That's what the people want to see.
Get that number 2 down.
Talk about your life and your YouTube, not just reselling. Trust me.
Oh yes, I plan on it. I got so much going on that I think I'm
plenty of content.
Plenty of content.
Make sure you guys are following Ruth Ann, the 4-Season Picker, on YouTube specifically, and also Facebook and Instagram as well.
Now I'm going to have this big move, and that'll be a lot of content. So
dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun. More to come. More to come. Help us remind us everywhere that they can find you, Ruth Ann, so people can follow you. Is it
I'm on Instagram, Facebook, whatnot, Etsy, Poshmark. I'm trying to add a couple more platforms, but I don't want to extend myself too much right now. So because I just bought a house, moving my business, and a lot going on. So, and I am a brand new baby on YouTube. So if you'd all go and check that out, I'd sure appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. What about you, Shawn? Where's everybody finding you these days?
ShawnsFinds on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I have my own podcast, the ShawnsFinds Show, that comes out every Monday at 6 a.m. I got a monster guest tomorrow. So
looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Whatever will they talk about?
There's no telling. There's no telling.
No telling.
Y'all should make sure. Yeah, maybe. Make sure you guys are following ShawnsFinds on YouTube. He is super close to getting the monetization hours that he needs. So please go click on his playlist. Even if you go to bed before you hit play and then let it play all night.
Put me on mute. You don't have to hear me talk.
It's fine. He's okay. He's gonna be okay. And while you're doing that, do ours too, because we're like this close being full monetized on YouTube. In all seriousness, Gary, Amy, where can they find you guys as always out there and about?
Yeah, we're on Facebook and YouTube at Cougars Corner, and also on eBay Cougars Corner. We have Instagram and TikTok as well.
All right, we have 444 plays and downloads on Spotify on this particular roundtable podcast. So we appreciate our Spotify and our Apple listeners and our Amazon listeners, all those people. That's double since the last time we met, if anybody's keeping score. So we appreciate you guys. Make sure you're subscribing to your favorite. Make sure you're listening along while you're doing your shipping on Mondays after you listen to the ShawnsFinds podcast on Monday mornings. Okay. We appreciate you guys. Remember, you can always find me, the Rocket City Reseller, on YouTube, Facebook. Instagram is Rocket City Reseller HSV. Our eBay is Rocket City Reseller HSV. Feel free to check us out anytime. We appreciate you guys. Remember, if you can't be good at it. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Flip Side.
See ya.
We'll see you guys.
See ya.